I mentioned in a previous video, I had some trouble locating a lot of the Rogue One Black Series figures, and by the time I did find them, I thought, well, they're kind of old news, maybe I don't even need to make a review of them. But even so, I didn't open them up thinking, well, maybe I'll do something with them, and it occurred to me that it might be fun to just sort of do a week or so of just Rogue One figure reviews leading up to the release of the film on the 15th. Well, the night of the 15th, that is, for the sneak preview. I do have my tickets reserved, so looking forward to that. In terms of the film, I've basically tried to remain as spoiler-free as possible. I've seen the trailers and so forth, but I haven't done much in the way of research. I don't really like knowing much going into the film. I thought we'd go ahead and get started with Jyn Erso herself. Obviously, she is apparently the star of the film, or at least sort of the leader of a band of rebels that is at the center of the film. So definitely an important figure. You know, this packaging is not really any different than the other packaging in the series, of course, which is probably a good thing. I'm not complaining. I like the general design of it. Now this figure, interestingly, was actually available on places like Amazon as a pre-order. You could just, you know, put in an order ahead of time before Force Friday or Rogue Friday, if you like. So there's quite a few of these around. I've seen them discounted fairly heavily too, but I'm, you know, interested to see what it looks like. I haven't purposely haven't looked at other people's reviews of the Rogue One figures just so I can keep my own impressions fresh. But in any case, we got the artwork here. We've got the number on the side, which is 22. It says Sergeant Jyn Erso Jedha, which I assume is a planet that she's in this outfit on. On the back, we have the little blurb as usual. A highly skilled soldier in the Rebel Alliance, Jyn Erso is an impetuous, defiant warrior, eager to bring the battle to the Empire. Jyn has little patience for debate within Alliance High Command, enough so that she takes matters into her own hands. Intriguing. So, let's open it up and see what she looks like. Well, here she is out of the package, and the first thing that struck me as I took her out was that her legs are rather severely bent. I don't know... Look at this leg here. It just sort of curves weirdly at the end. I have a feeling that this was the fault of the packaging. You know, these legs are a little on the rubbery side to begin with, and they're thin. So being in the package for so long probably did sort of cause them to be misshapen. I may need to take some hot water and try and reform them. Aside from that, though, it's a pretty good-looking figure, I'd say. It does have a couple of sort of layers of clothing, which I like. I like it when they have actual layers of rubberized clothes like this. It just makes it look a lot more realistic than if this whole torso, for example, was one piece that was sculpted. And also here, this hood or scarf, or I guess it's sort of a combination, is also sculpted out of rubber. And it is removable. I believe this vest is also removable as well. I'm not going to try and do it, though. It looks like it would be a little tricky. And also, this belt here in the holster is rubber and probably would be removable, I guess. You might have to actually disassemble the figure for that. In terms of accessories, all she comes with is this blaster, which I'll give you a closer look at here. Just a fairly simple looking blaster there. The sort of holes there in the barrel remind me of, I guess, maybe a Stormtrooper blaster, or even the original Rebel blaster from like A New Hope, that kind of thing. But in other ways, not so much. Articulation just seems to be pretty much standard. You know, I gotta be honest with you, I'm not one of these people who just really love Articulation. I mean, I like it, but it's, you know, unless there's something exceptional, I'm not going to be going through all of the Articulation. This is basically what you would expect, I think, from a figure of this type. So I'll just say it gets a pass on Articulation. Well, I will notice one thing though. She does have sort of a cut here under the the chest area there, which allows her to turn there, which is nice. So in terms of the sculpting, well, I'll tell you what. Let's look at the paint first. There isn't a huge amount of paint on this figure because a lot of the stuff here that you see is just the plastic color. But they do have accents like this yellow stripe down there and the zipper on her little vest and some of the metal pieces. So, and you know, it looks well done. It's not too sloppy. Not a lot of it, but it's well done, so no problems as far as I'm concerned. Now, if you look at her face, I think, I don't know, it looks kind of generic right there, don't you think? It looks almost like a cartoon version of the character more than a strictly realistic version. But that's actually partially due to this hood I found. If you take the hood off, which is a little tricky, you have to sort of get her chin underneath it, thusly, and then pull it off. I guess you can pull the head off too, but I don't really think it's necessary. Sometimes it's hard to get these heads back on. If you take that off and look at the head, maybe it's the hair that you can see now, but it looks way better to me. It looks way more like the character and the actress as well. So I'm actually going to be displaying it without the hood, I think. Aside from that, I think that's pretty much it. I think, you know, if you're going to have a Rogue One Black Series figure collection, you basically have to have this one. It's just like Rey with The Force Awakens. So it's good that it turned out pretty well. If you want to come back again tomorrow, I'm going to be having more figures every day, basically from now until Rogue One comes out on the 15th or 16th. I'm not exactly sure how many figures. I have one or two figures sort of possibly on the way, so we'll see if I can get them all. But in any case, more or less one figure every day from now until the movie comes out, because apparently I just wasn't busy enough with the Advent calendar. Thanks very much for watching.